With the recent price drop that RED came out with, I feel like it's time to talk about how I feel about the Komodo X.
Interesting price drops. $2,000 price drop.
$3,000.
Brand new for $3,000.
Purchase the camera at full price.
The student discount is $26.95.
The world of RED better be ready for some price drops and some camera devaluing.
This has to be the most regretful piece of gear that I think I ever bought. So basically, I was in between this or the Canon C400. Now, where my regret comes in is I wish this came out of the box ready to go. This isn't really kind of meant for run and gun, and that's where I didn't really know. Now, when it's fully rigged, it is great, but to get it there, you are spending way more money. So let's just start with power. So let's say you are running around with a Nano 98, right? When you snap it in, it fits perfectly, right? Perfectly for you to have your antenna plugged in, your SDI, everything. Everything would be good to go. But problem is, this 98 won't last long. So if you were to rig up a second monitor, because this top one is tiny, and you were to power that monitor with this, good luck. This thing will only last like 10 minutes. And don't even think about adding a transmitter. If you're using a monitor, let's say the Ninja Ultra, first off, this doesn't have HDMI port. This monitor, I didn't know it didn't have SDI until I got it, and then I had to buy this Atomos Connect attachment. Now, you got all this. Everything's good to go. Connect SDI to this. There's something called the SDI protocol, which is mind-blowing to me that no one's figured out how to fix this. Basically, when you plug this in from the SDI port, all the power has to be on. And let's say the camera dies, but this thing is on, there's a chance that you might blow out this SDI port. And it kind of renders this whole port useless. Basically, like a big chunk of this camera's kind of lost. Granted, there are, I guess, some SDI cables that can support the whole thing, so it doesn't short circuit, but there's always a chance that it will. So the protocol is you need to power everything on, plug into the accessory first, and then go into the camera. But you also have to monitor what's on and where the power is, just so you don't out the circuit. The dumbest thing, I just don't understand why that's not fixed. Maybe it is fixed. Maybe I didn't do enough research. Let me know in the comments, because I don't know, it freaks me out. Let's go into the other ports here. This audio port, didn't know what the hell that was until I did more research. Basically, it's like a 5-pin XLR. Just to get the RED branded adapter for the XLR, that's another $350, which is, granted, it is kind of cool. There is 2 ports that you can kind of screw onto your cage, and you're kind of good to go with XLRs. But that's so stupid. It's like, why wouldn't it be built in? I get it, form factor, they're kind of keeping it compressed and smaller. That XLR port would take up a big chunk, but the C400 already has it built in. It's just another hassle for me to get another attachment. You can try to buy the cheaper Limu adapters, but they break all the time. I actually went through 2 of them already, and they just fell apart. Let's work our way to the front of the camera. Thankfully, it is an RF mount. They are slowly shifting into their Nikon mounts, which we're not going to talk about that. There is a locking mechanism here to make sure that your lenses do stay on. They don't snap right off. I do have an adapter on here. It's RF to EF. That's all great, but this does not have built-in NDs, which is a massive thing for me as a shooter. It makes life easier when I can just tap a button and the ND filter kind of just goes on. Now I need to basically have my lens and my matte box and swap out filters, which is such a pain in the ass. If they were to make it like this Canon, look how simple that was. Click of a button. And I know these cameras were meant for like crash cams, but damn. They did a few recent updates in the firmware that kind of fixed it a bit, but it tends to search around a lot. If you're doing talking head, sure, right? If it's just one person, the autofocus is good enough for that. If you're doing an event or with multiple people, it will kind of headhunt and try to find focus. And again, this boot up time, 30 seconds? 30 seconds. It's crazy. Like I already missed several clips. Like if I was shooting an event, because I don't want to keep it on. If the battery dies, the SDI cable thing, and I need to conserve battery. Terrible. I do like the RED app. It does help as like a second monitor if I were to just use the RED app. Actually, the RED app I think is 1,000 times better than the Canon Connect. This one is a Delkin. I actually really do like this card. It reads and writes on this card really well. What's interesting, this camera can't read SanDisk, like at all. It doesn't recognize it as a card. It doesn't allow you to write on it. I tried formatting everything, just doesn't work. If I were to put in, this is a SanDisk 512 media, doesn't recognize it. It knows something's in there, can't use it. Nope, actually, you can't even inject it. Like, you're supposed to eject these cards, like go to the setting and eject it kind of like a PC. Can't do that. So you have to forcefully take it out. Now watch, Delkin goes right in. Yep, good to go. I mean, Delkin isn't approved media by RED. I think it's like Angelbird or RED cards, which again, just super overpriced. You would think other third-party companies should be able to work with it, but it doesn't. What just mind blows me is the fact that this has all these issues, but yet you can get the Canon C400 at the same price, but has everything. This camera in nighttime is complete trash. The ISO, if you jump over to like 12,000, which I know you really shouldn't, but sometimes you're in a pinch, it looks terrible. I do like Red Code RAW, like editing that, but I don't think it's worth it if your footage is grainy and just takes hours to fix. When the C400 has that triple base ISO and you can just crank it and it looks phenomenal. If you're in the market trying to pick up Komodo X and you're comparing it to either the Pixis Canon C400 or even the Canon C80, I would go either C80, C400, and not the Komodo X. Basically, I'm making this video so no one else out there makes the same mistake I did. But yeah, these are my thoughts on it. Save this video, share with a friend, and let me know down below if I'm just talking out my...